The announcement came this week, quietly, without fanfare. The PGA Tour confirmed that two of its most beloved events are gone. The Century at Kapalua, the Sony Open at Waialae, the entire Hawaiian swing, erased from the schedule. 56 years of tradition, wiped away. For decades, golf fans have started their year the same way. Wake up in January, shivering in the winter cold, turn on the television, and escape to paradise. Humpback whales breaching off the coast of Maui. The plantation course at Kapalua, with its sweeping ocean views and unpredictable trade winds. Waialae Country Club, a classic Seth Rayner design where strategy mattered more than power. No more. The PGA Tour CEO Brian Rolap has a new vision. Bigger markets, bigger events, scarcity over tradition. And the fans? They are furious. This is Golfio. For more coverage in golf, subscribe and hit the notification bell. The PGA Tour has officially eliminated its long-running Hawaiian swing, confirming this week that neither the Century Tournament of Champions nor the Sony Open in Hawaii will be part of the schedule moving forward. The decision, while long speculated, has sent shockwaves through the golf world. For decades, these two events served as the traditional start to the PGA Tour season. The Century, held at the plantation course at Kapalua on the island of Maui, was a winners-only event that kicked off the calendar year. The Sony Open, played at Waialae Country Club in Honolulu the following week, gave fans a second straight week of golf in paradise. No longer. The move is part of new PGA Tour CEO Brian Rolap's broader vision to overhaul the Tour's competitive model. Rolap has been preaching scarcity since he took over last year. He wants fewer events that mean more. He wants to condense the schedule and make every tournament feel like an event. And he wants to prioritize bigger markets over remote locations. The PGA Tour is not consistently in New York, Chicago, Boston, Washington, San Francisco, and Philadelphia, Rolap said during a March press conference. The Hawaiian Islands are none of those places, so the Hawaiian swing became a casualty. The decision was made official in a statement released Monday night. We are grateful to the plantation course at Kapalua, Kapalua Resort, Maui County, and the state of Hawaii for their longtime support of our season-opening PGA Tour event, the statement read, as well as the fans, partners, and volunteers across Maui who have supported the event throughout the years. But gratitude did not save the tournaments, and the fans are not satisfied with a polite goodbye. The confirmation has sparked considerable reaction from the golfing community. Hawaii's connection to professional golf stretches back to 1965, establishing a relationship spanning 6 decades. The plantation course at Kapalua has welcomed players as the season's opening venue since 1999, becoming synonymous with the new year in golf. Now, all of that history has been set aside for a new vision, a new schedule, a new era, and the fans are being asked to accept it. Many are refusing. To understand why the PGA Tour made this controversial decision, you have to go back to 2025. That was when the trouble started. The 2026 edition of the Century, which carried a prize fund of $20 million as a signature event, was scrapped late last year due to problems with water supply infrastructure on Maui. The plantation course at Kapalua was caught in a water rights dispute with a local company that it had been unable to resolve. The grass died, the course became unplayable, and the tournament was cancelled. For the PGA Tour, this was a logistical nightmare. The Century was supposed to be the season opener, the event that set the tone for the entire year, and suddenly it was gone. The Sony Open at Waialae Country Club on Oahu served as the Tour's season opener in 2026 instead, which was won by Chris Gotterup at A-Binds. But the damage was done. The Tour had experienced firsthand how fragile the Hawaii events were. The water dispute was not going to be resolved quickly. The costs of operating in Hawaii were exorbitant, and the ratings, even in the best of times, were not what the Tour wanted. The Tour cited logistical complexities unique to staging a tournament on the island of Maui as the reasoning behind the permanent departure. But the decision was about more than logistics. It was about strategy. When CEO Brian Rolap addressed the media in March at TPC Sawgrass ahead of the Players' Championship, he outlined 6 key themes for the future of the Tour. A season from late January to September. 120 player fields with 36-hole cuts. A big opener on the West Coast at a famous golf course. Finding bigger media markets. Meritocracy. And a more dramatic finish to the season. None of those themes included Hawaii. Rolap was clear about his priorities. We want to open big with a marquee event at an iconic venue in the West, among other things, allowing us to finish on network television in primetime on the East Coast. Rolap said in March. The message was unmistakable. The sleepy Hawaii events were not big. They were not marquee. They were not on network television in prime time. They were quiet, peaceful, beautiful, but not loud enough for the new PGA Tour. So they were cut. The decision made golf the second major American sport to exit Hawaii, following the NFL's relocation of the Pro Bowl to Orlando in 2016. For fans who loved the Hawaiian swing, the comparison was not lost on them. The Pro Bowl has never been the same since leaving Honolulu, and they fear the same will happen to the start of the golf season. The fan reaction to the news has been swift and emotional. Social media has been flooded with memories of past tournaments, favorite moments, and tributes to the two events. Golf writers have weighed in with their own reflections, and the consensus is clear. This is a loss. One fan wrote on X, "This is a horrible move. Serious nostalgia. Whenever it got to January, and I'd see all of the beautiful shots of Kapalua, I knew golf season was back." PGA had a shocker here. Another user acknowledged the financial logic whilst lamenting the outcome. "I get the business decision, but there is no way of dressing this up as good news. We lose two popular tournaments and get nothing in return." The anger is palpable, and it is not just coming from casual fans. Golf media has been equally critical. Sean Fairholm, writing for My Golf Spy, put it simply, "I am very sad these Hawaiian events are going away." His explanation of why is worth quoting at length. "There was something therapeutic and grounding about watching the Century Tournament of Champions at Kapalua. While many of us were stuck in frigid winter temperatures, the allure of watching golfers in paradise was strong for those golf-obsessed sickos among us." He acknowledged that Kapalua was not a difficult test for the pros. The winner shoots something ridiculous, like 30 under par. But that was never the point. Was Kapalua interesting for the pros? Absolutely. Beyond the gorgeous and calming images of humpback whales splashing off the Maui coast, Kapalua offered uneven lies, interesting shots, and fun elements brought on by the ever-present winds. It had an identity which is more than you can say for some other tour events that are still in existence. It was easily a top 10 golf watch on the year for me each season. As for the Sony Open, Fairholm lamented the loss of Waiale Country Club, a classic Seth Rayner design that frustrated and challenged players in unique ways. The defense of the course is interesting angles and tricky green complexes, much better than thick rough. Waiale always... The elimination of the Hawaiian swing is not an isolated decision. It is part of a much larger overhaul of the PGA Tour schedule that CEO Brian Rolap has been architecting since he took over last year, and the changes go far beyond Hawaii. In his March press conference at Tour headquarters, Rolap revealed plans to double the number of signature events from 8 to as many as 16. Those events will have $20 million purses and fields of 120 players. They will be the centerpiece of the Tour's calendar. The remaining events will be a second tier, a kind of minor league system where players can earn their way up to the big leagues. Rolap described it as a true meritocracy, where play well and you earn the opportunity to compete in our biggest events and for more money. He even invoked English football, comparing the system to promotion and relegation between the Premier League and the Championship. You see this work powerfully elsewhere, including in English football, where clubs move between the Premier League and the Championship based on their performance. Applying elements of that approach to the PGA Tour creates real consequence, lifting the competitive standard across the entire platform. The Hawaiian swing simply did not fit into this vision. The Century and Sony were not signature events. They were not in big markets. They did not generate the ratings or the buzz that Rolap is looking for, so they were cut. But what comes next? The Tour has not yet announced what event will kick off the 2027 season. The WM Phoenix Open seems an obvious contender, given the atmosphere at TPC Scottsdale and the fact that it comes right at the end of the NFL season, which helps with television viewing figures. Torrey Pines in San Diego, which already hosts the Farmers Insurance Open, is another possibility. And Century, the software company that has sponsored the Kapalua event and has a deal with the PGA Tour through 2035, will likely take over sponsorship of the Torrey Pines event. The Sony Open may yet survive in some form. The Tour has confirmed that discussions have taken place to transform it into a PGA Tour Champions event, pairing it with the Senior Circuit's Mitsubishi Electric Championship at Hualalai. But that is small consolation for fans who loved watching the world's best players navigate Waiale's tight fairways and tricky greens. The PGA Tour is moving on, and the fans who love the Hawaiian swing are being left behind. So, where does the PGA Tour go from here? And what does the elimination of the Hawaiian swing mean for the future of professional golf? The answer, according to CEO Brian Rolap, is progress. We will continue to move with urgency, but we are focused on getting it right, Rolap said. We are certainly proud of our history and just as focused on building the strongest possible future for our game and for our fans. The message is clear. The tour is not apologizing for cutting the Hawaiian swing. They are not walking it back. They believe that this is the right decision for the long-term health of the sport, and they are willing to endure the short-term backlash to achieve their vision. But for the fans who loved the Hawaiian swing, the decision feels like a betrayal. They are not just losing tournaments. They are losing a tradition, a ritual, a way of escaping winter, even if just for a few hours on a Sunday afternoon. As one commentator put it, some tournaments have to be cut or reimagined. The Hawaii events got clipped. Having said that, I will deeply miss these tournaments. The question now is whether the new season opener can capture the same magic. Can Torrey Pines or the WM Phoenix Open replace the feeling of watching humpback whales breach off the coast of Maui? Can any event replicate the unique challenge of Waiale's Seth Rayner design? The answer is almost certainly no. And that is why the fans are furious. Not because they do not understand the business case, but because they are losing something that cannot be replaced by another signature event at another generic course in another big city. My final take is this.